Welcome back, Royal family, to another episode on the Coin Kings channel. I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. All right. I did an additional stream yesterday out of my usual. I was bored to death yesterday. I was really bored. I thought when I came on, I'd get a little bit more action out of price. We didn't, but I'm gonna recap right here because the thing that we were looking at yesterday before I left, and that was all I had to give to you, then was where we needed to hold that according to the 1 hour 75,567.79. We needed to hold that little wick high right here. And that's exactly what we did before getting that bounce back up. So kudos to you if you tuned in yesterday evening, just randomly doing it, got the entry yesterday from the level that I was watching from. So I'm still holding the position. I wasn't sure how I was going to go. I'm gonna tell you, I went to sleep and I slept so well last night. Not really sure how things were going to turn out, but they turned out okay. We're still trying to grind our way up, here. Hopefully the scenario is some sort of a flat. I mean, if we finished out 5 ways and we're getting the correction in here, hopefully the situation is flat and we get up there and we take that liquidity from the mother. But I'm not gonna let you forget where I'm trying to get to. Where I'm hoping price is trying to get to, and that is to take that liquidity from that mother bar. I cannot see that bottom being swept in any way right now until that top is taken out for me personally. Um, and everything flips bearish if we're losing our trend line through here, if we're losing that, for me personally, that's just my views on it. When I look at it, that's what that's what I see. I see nothing bullish from that point. If we were to do that, would I still take entries? Absolutely. But I don't see anything bullish if we do that. And that's just the fact. It's just a fact. Called it my opinion, then I called it a fact. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I really do. I am. All right, so if we're managing to get past this golden pocket, we're going to look at 786. If you're really bearish and you're looking for something like an ABC zigzag, 786 is going to be your last stop, and then you'd be looking for price to drop down from there and take out that low from the previous day, which is this one right here. So you'd be looking for that into here and then a breakdown. If you're bearish, I'm not bearish right now. I will change, but I'm not bearish right now. So I'm looking for continuation to the upside. Just quite a struggle right here. Right now, the 4 hour is pushing up, looking pretty decent in here. 1 hour still gives me pause for concern. It does. I said that yesterday, but much respect to the 1 hour for holding up. I have the indicators turned off right now. Side panel over there. It's a nice little rejection there after grabbing that liquidity in here and hitting none other than the lows in here that we discussed yesterday. These lows right in here. Actually, I would have did it more, something like that. So for me, it probably, for me, it didn't tap it, but nonetheless, it is still these lows in here. Quite a lot of resistance in here. This is the thing. Like when you're hitting resistance, you're gonna see rejection. You're gonna see it. It's not a reason to get bearish immediately just because you're hitting resistance. We know that we're at a resistance area. Obviously, we're at a resistance area. It doesn't mean that price can't get through that resistance. You're gonna get those reactions from it. So that's just a natural cause and effect. You're gonna get reactions when you hit resistance. But when you see price going back, it's like fighting somebody. It's like being in the ring with somebody and you get knocked down and you get back up and you try again. And you get knocked down and you get back up again and you try again. Or just say just something that you're not good at. But when you get knocked down, you get up, you try it again. Eventually you get it. Eventually you get it. Right? And that's what can happen right here with Bitcoin. It is not moving away from what it's trying to get through. It's hammering at it. And if it keeps knocking, the door shall open and we will go higher. Now, sometimes nobody shows up to let you in. And, and that's how it be. If you're a good citizen, you walk away. But anyway, enough of that. Really gotta flip this golden pocket. The 1 hour is cratering under the resistance at the golden pocket right now. So that was another thing that I mentioned to you. We really have to flip that golden pocket. I can see that. I'm simply using the QTD. It's not on the screen for you, but I'm simply using the QTD, and I can see that. Once we can flip that, we're above some things that I look for out of my own indicator, um, that makes it bullish or has the potential of making it a bullish move. So right now we're underneath some defined resistance there. But we flip that, we'll get through here. Actually, if we flip that, then I'm not looking for a 786. I'm looking to get through 786, which means I'll also be looking for a new short position, you know. So it's not that I'm not willing to take shorts. I told you yesterday I was really scared about taking shorts because nothing is telling me that I needed the short. Not in here anyway. When we got up here, I did take the short. But through here, I have nothing telling me to get short, so I've been really nervous about taking the shorts through here. But you've managed to get some scalps out of things in here. We looked at a couple of things, and like I said to you, sometimes I will put the entry up a little bit higher. I just will. But I do have a real fear right now of trying to short in the center. Once we get up here, if we get up to something that I'm more interested in, which is taking out this high over here, with no liquidity from that mother bar. Really, it's that mother bar. But if we take out the liquidity over here, then I will also consider right in here as well to an entry for a new short. I'm just not doing it through here, not through here. So it sounds like I'm cheering against my own short, and I'm actually not. I don't know. It just wouldn't make sense for me not doing it. But it's not about sense because the market would do whatever the market wants to do, and you and your nonsense you get wrecked. So I'm going with the flow. I'm going with the flow until the flow tells me, until the flow shifts, then I need to shift with the flow. Alright, so, let's take a look at some indicators while we're at it. So you can see we're continuing. It looks like a little head and shoulders right here, inverse head and shoulders right there. And it looks pretty cute. Now, yesterday we were talking about this right here. I mean, you can count 5 ways. You can also turn this into a 3-wave count. Then you get another 3-wave count up. If I'm looking for a flat, which is what I'm actually looking for, is a flat. If we already did 5 ways to the upside, and then this is our ABC correction, this could be a flat. And usually in a flat, you're gonna have 3, 3, and maybe 3, 3, and 3, or 3, 3, and 5, something like that. But if I didn't count this as 5, I could count it as 3, and then count this as 3 all the way up to take out that liquidity right there. I was saying a running flat, which means that actually with a running flat, we wouldn't. Um, it would seem more like a range, I suppose, versus an expanding flat. But I'm not an Elliotician. I can just, I just try to do common sense. If I can see it, then I talk about it. If I can't see it, then I don't even bother with it because markets move way too fast for me to be sitting here trying to guess about Elliott wave, especially when I'm not. Like I said, I'm not an Elliotician, but I can do some stuff. I educate myself around the charts pretty well, pretty well. So continue this little move up right here. This 15-minute time frame still looks nice. Like I was showing you yesterday with the QTD, right here. It still looks nice. I was mentioning to you right here. It's called a Jack and the Beanstalk. That's my name on it. Jack and the Beanstalk. Plant the seed grows all the way up to get that gold out of that castle in the sky. So Jack and the Beanstalk, get that dipper in here, and we're still maintaining above the cloud, and the cloud continues to move with price action, and it's all good until it does what? Until it does this thunderbolt over here. So that's a Thor. It's a Thor right there. You see that bump right there, and price action falls underneath it, and then we're trading below it. I don't like that. So we're still above it on the actually, we're trying to get above the cloud right now in the 1-hour time frame. So that was something that I was also looking at yesterday. Okay, I didn't have the 15 minutes to go off of, but what I did have was the 1-hour time frame, and you'll see what I was looking at yesterday. So that's how I knew, like, for this 1-hour time frame, if price action was to come back, it had to hold that 75, 567.79. It was clear that it had to hold that, because if we were disrespecting that, then we were going underneath the dynamic cloud, which is a bearish situation, and we would continue to see some further downside in here. We didn't get that, and again, that looks like a beautiful inverse right there. I'm not one who's big on inverse, in the at this area of price action. But again, like I said, this could be A, B, C. Then we're doing A, B, C up, and then we'll get a move down that, the people who have not been bullish this entire time, who I don't know. I hope you've been okay, maybe sitting on the sidelines or something like that instead. But we here, we have to be able to get outside of this cloud. So yesterday when we were in here, I was waiting for price action to actually tap into this golden pocket. I did go ahead and take the profit. I just moved the CP into the take profit because we weren't actually coming into the golden pocket. Like I'm saying, we had the ability to front run it, especially with me looking at this and being like, yeah, we got a blockade right there. So um like I said, I'm still holding on to the rest of it, but we have to be able to flip above here. Once we can do that, then we're back above here, and we're back to riding this thing up to the upside. So I'm looking for that here on this 1-hour time frame. So far, we have not been successful with it. You can see a slight little bear dip right here from the QTD. You also got it on the RSI, so I can see it from the RSI as well, but it looks like bear div in play right here, where you have a lower high here on the momentum here, and you have a slight higher high here on price action. You can see it right there, right here. Let's see the higher high and then the lower high. And if you don't understand how to spot higher high and higher lows, you want to put it on the line chart. It's not about wicks. Okay, it's not about the wicks. It's about what it looks like from a line bias. All right, so that's what we got there. Yesterday, we saw us flipping green in here on the 1-hour time frame, um, and MACD maintaining, because once MACD does the three check marks, which is above 0 and above the delta. I guess that's your 2 check marks. Above 0, above delta. Alright, and then if it pulls back in, then you're looking for it to maintain above the 0, but I guess we'll go with a 1-2 puncher right there for the MACD. Really great continuation signal, indicator, MACD. So, yeah, not too shabby. Let me put that away right there. Put that away. At least turn my means back on here. Took that little Asia low. I like looking at this. Leho reminded me yesterday. For some reason, I didn't have it on the chart anymore, and I guess I just kind of like stopped looking at it. But I love when I look at it because it gives me something to target, which is usually going to be that Asia low. But So far, so good. So far, we're good. Let me push out here, take a look here at the 1 hour time frame from the 1 hour pane, actually. Let's see. I'm really liking that. That's looking cute right there. That's looking quite cute. Um, like I said, MACD comes up the zero line, comes above the delta. From there, when your MACD is up here like this, you're just looking for it to correct and continue. So you're looking for an entry behind something like this right here. There are moments at some point where it's just gonna roll over and break down below. There are moments where that happens. But for the most part, that's your signal to be long or to look for a long entry when you see something like that. Oh, yeah, that reminds me of, no, never mind. So, no bearish is right here. So, I really can't use that. I'm gonna push this up here, see what happens there. Um, that is fine. Still green over here, still holding. MACD, still holding through there. Um, if we come up, we probably will could see some bearish dips just trying to get up here. And again, that's going to be your 50% retracement right there. This little green line right here, that's for the mother bar. That's the mother bar high with that liquidity that sits right there. That's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm trying to see price action get to. That right there. And then and only then for me can I think about price action going down to take the liquidity from the low, which it that could still be a low probability play. It could still be, and we're gonna talk about that here in a second too. But still looking strong through here. Like we still look strong through here right now. The probabilities of these things right here, I become bearish, but they're here. I have to test them. But I'm bearish, you know, if we're not holding above here, this line right here. This line means everything. This one means everything. You can see the mother bar lock zero right here. If you're on the weekly time frame, then you know. It's this bar right here. This very bar right here where price action has had is, I mean, Octomom right here. This is Octomom. But it's this. So why could we not afford to lose that trend line? Or you can just go with the horizontal. We couldn't afford to lose it because it was our resistance flip. You don't want to go back under your resistance. It was our resistance flip. We put this on a line. That was our resistance flip. This is where we have our moving average right through here. We didn't want to break down below that. Anybody who was calling for that or looking for that, I don't know. I don't know. Just common sense. You don't want that, and then think you're gonna pop back up. It's kind of that's difficult. Like we're facing a lot of resistance already. Already, I don't want to fall back below this. This is why the golden pocket was not an option for me. I put it there on the chart, but I said, like I said, it's important. Like this is critical. We got to hold above this right here, in order to get here. Take that liquidity off of here because you can do like a sweep. I mean, you can do a sweep. Usually, when you have like a range like this, you usually are expecting some sort of an explosive move. But a lot of times, too, one of the biggest things is taking liquidity off of one side and then taking it off the other side. Like I said, there could be a chance that that doesn't happen because here's where it gets interesting. If we do a run and not a sweep right here, and we start to range and hold here, and we end up flipping above here. This is also your flip zone for a more bullish market or bullish market, potentially taking out the high. I'm not trying to get into all of that. I'm not looking for any of that right now, none of that. So if you're looking for price action to get here into the golden pocket, which is here, then you're really calling for something different. You honestly are. You're calling for a reversal from down here. You're calling for this to be a low if you look for price to come into here. Because it could get in here and just start to consolidate and then do a continuation to the upside. That could be the thing. And let's just say, for example, we just finished out 5 waves here to the upside. Let's just count this as a 3 waver. 1, 2, 3 down. And let's just say you got another flat through here, taking out this high. I mean that those are probabilities. Those are real probabilities. Especially if we're calling for golden pocket tap, which is not as far as I'm trying to get to. Really just trying to get to this right here. So if you're not seeing a sweep here and you're looking for price action in here, you're calling for something different. Absolutely calling for something different than just a golden pocket tap. You really are. You're calling for a full blown reversal on Bitcoin price action, which isn't going to be weird. It's not weird if it is. It's not going to be weird at all. Um, Something else to say right here. Beautiful inverse right here. Beautiful inverse head and shoulders on the other side. Always nice to see. I am watching here. Like we got several days out on this. So at some point in this push up, if we rotate back down below here, um, that'll be a signal. In terms of bear divs, it'll be a signal because we know that we're not above this point over here. We're not above that point right now. But that's what the RSI is. And since we do have squeeze in here, there is a chance that it could do something like that. I look back at the prior squeezes. I think I've done it a few times, but I did look back at the prior squeezes where you see this green color down here, and we essentially got a rejection after we flipped gray. We essentially got a rejection and another little move down before we got push up. So we're doing it right here, and then we looked at over here. Actually, I can turn this on. So we're doing it right here. You see this green. We did it right here as well. We got as high enough into the 20s. The 20 SMA basically is what the squeeze generally leads you into, the 20 SMA. So you can see how it flipped off and then it rejected right there after being green. So that's 2022 right there. Then we did it, that chart is a problem. So 2022. It's not enough data off that finance chart. And then here we go here. We did it here. We actually didn't flip back down here, but that's okay. We did over here. We flipped back down, but we didn't flip back down here on this one right here. We just absolutely rocketed it to the upside. No calling. I think it was just no, it was this one right here too. But we flipped. We were green. We got a push up into gray, and then we flipped back down. So that could be the thing right here too. Just flip into that, get a closure. You got to get a closure above the 20 SMA. You get the closure above the 20 SMA, and then you be looking for the rejection back down below it. But that's how all of the rallies got started through here. At least 4 of them. I don't think that there was anything back here when we looked at it. No, there was nothing. There's nothing this far back. And if it was, indicator probably not picking it up. But all of the lows came through right behind the green color right here. So some sort of a push up and a little bit of a rejection down. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now we're here. The 4th one. So it could be falling the low right here for sure. There's some other similarities in here too, such as just retracing back to the prior high. Like that's a common thing too. I know it's a lot of other similarities that we're looking for that are not showing up, but for every non-similarity, everything that you're looking for that's not happening right now, there are things that did happen prior that we can see in the chart as well. So we can't, I mean, we're not gonna get everything. Often rhymes doesn't repeat, that sort of, situation right there, and we already know that we're in bear market lows right here. Um, I mean, I guess it just depends on how you do it based on my indicator. We're already in it. We're already in the bear market lows. Now there again, there's a measured move in here that says that price will come down here to this max pain right here around 40,000, something like that. But it can reverse right here. Again, it can reverse right here. So we've already talked about the fact that price tends to come back to the highs. You know how I do my highs. It's basically gonna be this one and this one. Simple. It's where you wicked into. That's where you didn't get a closure. Oh yeah, that's a double bottom measure move as well. So if you count this as double bottom, that is the measured move for that double bottom. It's right here into that mother bar high right there to take that liquidity out right there. That's how this reversal over here happened. Personally, would have did one. I'm just gonna do it like I would have did it. Let me shoot this right here, but I think it ended up being this one right here though. Yeah. So this was what we made that first attempt to hold a high right here. I would have looked at this one. I think a lot of people ended up looking at this one. For some reason, it ended up being this right here. Probably would have less looked at that, but that's what it ended up being for the low right there and then the reversal. So prior highs have acted as a reversal level with the green fan squeeze. So Bollinger Volatility squeezing for an explosive move. I don't have to turn that down, but I like to do that. I'm just gonna do what I know I would have done. I'm not gonna pretend like I would have done it any differently. I know I would have looked at all the pivots in here for sure. Um, and that would have been it for me, just looking at all of the pivots. Where we at? Oh, I'm on the wrong low. I should have been on this low over here. So there it is right there. I was trying I was trying to look at this low over here. I'm on all the wrong lows. It would have been that low right there to call this low right here. But we come back to a prior high and we hold it as support. That's all I'm trying to say. That was that. So and we got the squeeze in here. I don't know. I'm not trying to call the bottom. I'm not trying to call the bottom. I'm not trying to call the top. I'm just trying to be prosperous in this market, whichever direction it's trying to lean into. I'm just trying to catch a bid with it. Um, so yeah, I'm not actually calling for up here. That's that's reversal. It's reversal from here, in my opinion. That's a reversal. That's not just a simple golden pocket cap. It's more than that. MACD, I mean, sorry, that's the, delta. MACD, delta, rising up. So, I mean, you still got to get the I guess the 2 most critical things in here have to happen. You can't just MACD has to be above 0. Once it gets above 0, it has to be above delta. Otherwise, this is a correction, and MACD doesn't, hold up, and it reverses right below that 0. It has to do one of these numbers right here. It has to come up above 0, which is the dashed line. It has to come above 0, then it has to get above delta. That makes it bullish. And then you start getting corrective waves where MACD stays above the 0 line. Corrective wave, MACD stays above the 0 line. Corrective wave, MACD stays above the 0 line. So every pullback becomes a new entry, stays above the 0 line. Eventually, MACD breaks below 0 line, crosses below delta, bearish. So right here, it's just a lower high until it does come above 0, which is far off from that, like a negative 7,000 right now. Come above 0, come above delta. But this so far is showing agreement right now, but it has to do this number right here. You can look for it to fail by telling whether or not your delta, whether or not when it crosses up, is your delta showing a decline or not. If your delta is declining when the MACD crosses up above it, then or just say you might be getting a pullback right there instead. But you don't want to go long just because it just did that. You want to let it pull back and then hold up. Otherwise, you get a lot of failed attempts trying to do that. But seriously, 0 delta correction continuation. Runner. We've only done this 6 times. It's only done it 6 times so far in the weekly time frame. 6 times you've gotten a MACD cross above the 0 above delta. 6 times. That's how successful you would be with it. 6 times. I think it failed, what, twice? Twice. But it's only happened 6 times. So if it happens here, it'd be 7 times. And that's what you need to look for too. Anyway, we're back at the golden pocket on Bitcoin. Actually, I think this is just 6 times. I have to find it. Do I have it in here? I see what I don't need. Don't need this. Not on this chart. I don't need it. Yeah, it's the weekly. 6 times on the weekly. You got it even less times here on the monthly time frame. Monthly looks good. You know why? Because MACD is above 0. It only came below here, what, one time? And that was right here in 2022. 2022, 2020. Yeah, 2022 was the only time MACD rolled below 0. On the monthly, I think that was it when I look back at it. Yeah, right here. This was the only time it actually fell below. Well, actually, it did it right there too. It did it right there too, ever so slightly. No evidence of it happening there, but it did do it right there in 2015 as well. So my bad. 2015 it did it. 2019 it didn't. 2022 it did it, and we're right here. So right now, as far as the monthly is concerned, this is just corrective and then continuation. And historical floor has been around 44.59. Uh, right here. We already swooped below it and crossed back above it. There's not a time in here where it came below it, at least from looking at the only two times that we have in here is this one right here. So again, 2019 and 2023 are the only two times that it actually crossed below that historical floor and crossed back above it. You don't see it fail. You don't see it fail, which means price continued higher. And we did it over here. And we do still have to count the fact that it's April 21st. When did that happen? It's February. I think we sealed the deal on that. I think we sealed the deal on that. It's never come back. And RSI continued to grind higher from that point. It is a historical floor. I was watching for this right here, though, just in case it does fail. And this is simply looking back here at this prior one right here. But it never failed before. Hey, that was just reversal. 48.72. About to get above 50. I mean, you can see it never came back. Once that happened, that caught the bottom. That caught the bottom. And it never looked back. That caught the bottom right there. See that cross above that floor? It never looked back. Now I put the line on the 50 and looking at that MACD too, but I put the line on the 50, you know, when we got above 50. But once you got above here, that was it. It never came back. This one right here never dropped below it. Because this was the one that I had to use for starters. Now I could have pushed it up into here, but there's no point in that. That's why I used the 50 instead. Because if I wanted to look all the way back here, might as well just go with the 50. And so that's why I put the crosses to where the RSI pushed above 50, and not just where the RSI crossed above the historical floor. But this is a historical floor at 44.59. We're 48.71 right now. So, I mean, personally, it could be. I'm not trying to figure it out, to be honest with you, but it could be that that's the floor, and we don't come back from that. We don't. None of this happens. We held the lows. We held the previous highs as support, and then we continue higher. Especially if, like I said, you're looking for a golden pocket retracement. I mean, you're talking a full-on reversal. I want to see this failed. I want to see a sweep and then rejection and come back down. But yeah, I mean that's what I see. That's what I see. It's right there on the chart. Maybe it's just me. I know we usually what I know we usually have like an entire year, but a lot has changed too. Like changes happen. Changes happen. We broke prior highs before. It was usually calculated that we would break prior highs. We did all of that early. So things can change. The institutional money doesn't give a crap about your birthday. It doesn't give a crap. It doesn't. Make it that easy? Probably not. I don't know. All right, still fighting with this previous day high in here. We did sweep the liquidity, rejection off of the golden pocket, rejection below that cloud on the 1 hour. We really need to flip above this if we're going to see price actually continue up. Otherwise, like I said, if you're bearish, then maybe it just doesn't happen and you see price action roll over. I would be much happier if we go higher, but I am positioned from up, and I do still have my long as well, which by the way isn't that much in it. But I do still want price to go up. I did open up a new long right here, um, but it's all right. What was I about to look at? Did we look at the 4 hour? I don't think I even looked at the 4 hour. I did look at the 4 hour, didn't I? I looked at the 4 hour. RSI looked still looked good. Purple, still rising. You can see the inverse right here as well on the RSI. So you got the inverse right here. I'm never big on RSI inverse head and shoulders. At I consider this to be a top, but I know on lower time frames they can't have. I just like to see it down at the bottom. I just don't care to see it like this. It has to be at the bottom somewhere. But everything is still agreeing, still trying to push up. Today is the tail. CME gap is basically about filled. CME gap gets filled somewhere. I think it's right here at this order block right here. CME gap is fully filled. Not that it has to. Again, it doesn't have to fill that CME gap completely. But we are almost there. Right here, you see? We was watching us fill in that big old gap. Man, that was that big old gap that we had, but we got this much left of it now. So just this much left of it. And I'm still surprised nobody's even mentioning, at least as far as what I've because I watch a lot of YouTubers. I support the crypto space heavily, support the stock market heavily, crypto space especially, because this is the Coin Kings channel. Who else has names like that besides crypto? Down to crypto PA. I just really hadn't seen a lot of people talking about the gap and how big this freaking gap was. Obviously, you had to be looking for this loan. It was a senseless gap. It wasn't a sensible gap. Let me put it like that. It wasn't senseless. It wasn't a sensible gap, in my opinion. It wasn't a sensible. It was nothing that I can make sense of, other than exhaustion. But that was it. Exhaustion. And just that much left. So about $400 left of a gap to fill. If we're gonna fill the rest of it. That is, if we're gonna fill the rest of it. See if I can't. Let's see. Let me see what I bid over here looking like. Well, now we're still trying to push up above that flip level, which is cute. That's really cute. I don't get into the gaps on. I've tried to understand the gaps on iBid. I can't get into the gaps on iBid. I tried. I'm not gonna even pretend like they make sense to me. Whether or not they get filled or not, you know, not all gaps are created equal, but that was just something different. Um, and I think 45 is still like the uh, yeah, 45 still be 45 is the same target of taking the liquidity from the mother bar. 45 is, you see it right here. That's 45 right there. That's the mother bar right there. Now this does push into golden pocket. Like I said, I don't really try to make sense of why that looks like that. Probably because of the time frame I was using. Yeah, I think it was because of the time frame I was using. 15 minutes shows the gap a bit wider. Maybe it's something a lot more reliable from here, just like how it filled it in right there. Maybe if I'm looking at it from a high time frame like this, it'll make more sense. Interesting how it gapped over the same area. I like when I see that. So could watch for that to get filled and use that to our advantage. I think so. It's like exactly where it turned around over here. So yeah, something to watch for. I just do one where it's entering. I thought about adding to my position. I was asleep though. So how did you think about adding when you were sleeping, honey? The thought crossed my mind before it got here. Like, should I set an alert and do that? Or just leave this alone? Because I'm not really good at adding to a position. Anytime I add to a position, it ends up getting hit. So I don't typically add. Yeah, we get some strength in here. Let's see. Have you ever used crypto to pay for anything? The answer is no. The first time the 4 hours actually starting to see some sort of an acceleration from its QTD as well. Still trying to get above on that 1 hour, like I said, but it's the first time that I've seen a momentum bar pop out on the 4 hour time frame in a long time. I can see it popping out right here under this candle right here. It's the first time it's happened in a while. Actually, this was one pushing price action down. I should go in and modify colors, but I just prefer. That's the first time that's happened in a minute. So we are getting some strength come in. Oh, we lit up like a little tree over here too. Yesterday we lit up like a tree. We struggled. I'm not used to seeing that happen, but we got this pine tree over here. Not that I would believe in this right here, because like I said, I don't like when I see a inverse. Anywhere other than the bottom. Whoa! I'll be dang. I'll be dang. I didn't even try. You saw that. Had nothing to do with me. Let's do it then, Biddy. I would like to see that come to fruition. Yeah, I like to see that come true. I had to change that word. my country, my country just didn't like it, so had to go with something different. I like to see this come to pass. That is a measure move, though. It slapped dead into that mother bar high. We did break it over here too, though, so I could have set it over here. And normally, so let me not act extra. Let's put it right here. And I always try to get the little circle like centered. Same story though. Same story. Same story. Not gonna fight with it. We'll see what happens. At least let me make this lighter so it's not obstructing the view or anything. I don't need this anymore. Blessed to get into that loan. Blessed to be patient to say if it comes here, then I could get in. I was blessed to do that. Otherwise, I would have got left behind because I insisted that once I got stopped out right here, when that candle came down to stop me out, that I would not enter it again. It took a lot. It took a lot for me to be like, sit out, sit out. It did. Not knowing if it would really come back and let me in. I could have got in later though, and I would have. I probably would have definitely depended on something like this instead. I can leave this here because it's still a whole zone. Hopefully, we don't have to come back down here and test anything, and that we're actually flipping and getting above here. Guess we're going to get some more information today too, in terms of what's happening in the Middle East. I think our president is probably going to make some sort of new speech today or something. In that regard, we'll see what happens there. Right now, with oil, like we're continuing to reject from our 87.59. So the 87.59 is continuing to be a rejection point. Ever since we got that gap up, it's continuing to be a rejection point right there. So, like I said, this looks very controlled in my opinion. I fixed the lines yesterday here, which this belongs to this side over here and not this situation in here. So I fixed it. It was just I was being lazy when I initially did it. Um, but looks very controlled in my opinion. It's not, it's rejecting a little bit right here. It's not aggressive. It's not aggressive. So today could tell the story. Whether or not we'll see this thing break up or if we'll see it pushed down. I'm leaning towards the gap being filled. Um, and then we can see what happens from there. Uh, I had the VWAPs on in here. You can see these in here starting to relax a lot. Gives me the break to the upside vibes. These are still holding steady and just sideways through here. They really worked great. I did have this fixed range in here, but it's easier for me to work with support and resistance levels than it is for me to work with this. It had been useful, though it was a little bit useful, but I seriously prefer support and resistance levels, and then can use that fixed range. It's just and turn the background color off. It should be a little simple click. I think the same thing. We're not breaking through just yet. Stood for this. What was it? Was it a daily? No. Is it a weekly? Yeah. And so that's how I pulled it too. The fixed range is based on what's inside of this mother bar right here. And so everything I'm looking at is in here with the exception of the one that I added here. And then of course the gap right here. You can see that weekly gap that's on the chart right here. Then I had threw this one in. Where is this one? The reason why it's not showing up with the rest of them. Hold on. Oh, okay. I must have blocked it. Oh, that's weird. I didn't realize I did that. It might have did it because I'm always hiding stuff. But yeah. That's what we got. Yeah, so it's coming from the weekly, the coiling. And if we're coiling and we got a falling wedge, I would think that it would break to the upside personally with the coiling. The falling wedge. But I said it could. When I posted, I said like it could sit side of it, get everybody bearish. I mean, I would be too um, if I traded it, but I don't trade it. It's got to be wider, wider. Is that how it says? Wider. It's got to be wider. Mm. We got about an hour left, a little less than an hour left on that 4 hour candle. We're gonna be coming into 8 o'clock then. I don't, see, when I checked yesterday, we didn't really have any important information that was coming out today, other than what I said. Trump probably going to talk or something like that. Today's Tuesday. Oh, we do have core retail sales. Oh yeah, he does speak at 8:30, guys. 8:30. Oh, this week's April 21st. Yeah, yeah. So we got oof. Let's see what happened with that setup on oil. 8:30. Come on, Bitcoin. Get on up there then. However this is gonna go. And then you got Warsh testifying. And let's see what that's about. That's at 10. I won't be here for it, but I don't think I've said anything different today that I didn't say yesterday. So that information is going to remain as what I am looking for. I do need to talk that bearish scenario a little bit more in case, that does end up being the outcome. I know I pointed to it yesterday. Oof, Trump speaking at 8:30. Wow. Um, I pointed to it yesterday. But basically, what it is if we do see a rejection, let's just say this is like an ABC correction, we're not going to get to what I'm looking for up here. Let's say we do 786 and then we reject from the pocket of the 786 in here. Maybe even want to look at the 0.886. I'm really going with 786. But if we come up here and we reject, what would I be looking for price action to come back down into? I lean towards the liquidity that's down here. I lean towards this liquidity. You know how many times I have yelled about this area getting hit and it never happened? I still got this stuff over here on the chart. Like, no, don't come in here. Yes, come in here. And this is when we were looking for that third. Was it the third or the fourth wave? I can't remember. I can see it from the higher time frame. But that's when we were looking for this next wave right here. And we ended up holding above here. But we have these equal lows right here. I'm just going to get rid of this. Let's delete. Let's get rid of all of this. Yeah, I don't need that either. So that can go. I unlock it first, because if you don't unlock it first and they ask you if you're sure. But I'd be looking for these equal lows down here to get taken. I think that was also like an Asia low right there as well. Let's just see. Yeah, that was an Asia low as well. Asia been killing it. Asia session been killing it. Hear me? Asia session been killing it. Um, but this equal low in here to get taken out. I think that equal low, of course, that's going to be lower than here. I think that that puts price action. What does that put price action? I don't know, but it's well below that point of control. I don't know. It's some good liquidity right here. Then the bears can have their way. Do I got two in here? I think I got two in here. This was the start of everything. Hold on, let me get rid of this stuff in here too. I was just doing crazy stuff. What is this? It is a fixed value range. I don't know why I have it in here. I don't know. I'm gonna get rid of it. If I need it, I can come back and add it. This must have been a bounce level. Huh. That's weird. It's just sitting out here. It's liquidity level. It's not marked out. But I would be looking for oh no, I just think that these equals down here, some major liquidity, would have to contend with that value area high, I suppose, the 786 right here. In the most bearish scenario, which is not, I mean, we have to talk about it, I suppose. That would be a most bearish scenario. And then, of course, I know a lot of people looking for the continuation back down, filling the CME gap that's down lower. Like I said, that CME gap right there could take weeks to fill. And I think we've been a couple of weeks out from it now. At least two, maybe. I'm guessing. Has it been 2 weeks? I don't know. Has it been 2 weeks? Is it visible from a higher time frame? That is a question. I'm assuming we're talking about I'm assuming we're talking about this right here. Is this what we're talking about? That's just below those equal lows. No, that's not the equal lows, is it? Oh, I'm on CME. That's right. I'm on CME. It's not going to look the same. But I'm just assuming that this is the gap that everybody's, yeah, that's the gap, I think. Otherwise, I don't see it on a higher time frame. Or it's a Tuesday common gap. It's the one we're dealing with right now. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I just want to make sure I see it right from a higher time frame. It might not be all that important if we can't see it from a higher time frame. I'm assuming that those are it here. That is, yeah, I think that is about right in here for those lows. It looks different over here though. And you got a gap there. You got a gap right here. I could have sworn that the one that we looked at was a breakaway gap. A lot harder to see from here, which doesn't make it as relevant in my opinion, but not like one of these large gaps right here. Like those are big visible gaps. Huge visible gaps. And of course, this gap right here, it's a huge visible gap from a higher time frame. I think that these are a lot more relevant. These big ones that we can see. Is that my mother bar? It is my mother bar. Hey, mom. I know we were just looking at this. I know we were. I was looking at it from I don't know what time frame it was, but yeah, I really think, yeah, that's all I say. We get to it. We get to it somehow, some way. We ain't getting to it. I don't know. I just think we get to it. Getting a nice little rejection right now. Interesting. It's a little piercing. Interesting. It won't let me be great. We still got a closure outside of that trend line that was through here. So I'm still gonna, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really one for seeing an inverse like in the center of price action and then believing in it. That's not something I do. We'll rock with it right now though. Let's see. Any Americans here? With the Vote Project. Emma, welcome, Emma. Emma, Emma. Like I said, we're not quite putting in the squeeze on the 1 hour time frame, but it's positioned something somewhat similar to what I would be looking for on it. And it would be considered a bearish squeeze. I see it on the 15-minute time frame here right now. I also, like I said, the 1 hour it's not a confirmed one, but I could see it there if I turn this off. You can see this red coming in right here. We are putting in a squeeze here on the 15-minute time frame. Like I said, it typically indicates some sort of a move down. Like over here, like it didn't give much, which is why I was looking for that entry over here because we had it, but it didn't do much. And the structure through here looks pretty decent. So it could just be a wick. Hopefully it's nothing serious. It's just interesting timing for it. Along with the bear divs, not on the RSI. I don't see the bear div on the RSI. We definitely have bear div on the Delta. We also have bear div on the CCI as well. There's a bear div here between these two highs right here. And then, of course, on the 1 hour time frame, the picture is eerily similar, but you don't actually have the squeeze, which tells me any sort of a little extra move up in here, probably we will see a drop down in here. We got the, let's see, we will start to get extended on the 4 hour. Um, it doesn't mean an immediate reversal or anything like that, but I am seeing that a continued push higher, especially like coming into this 786. Could get some confluence to a rejection if we're getting in here. Remember, I was trying to make sense of this yesterday. It wasn't really making sense, and thank goodness that I did away with that too. I was looking at a little channel in here. Nothing was really making sense yesterday. Just lots of chop. About an hour, 10 minutes out from Trump speaking and getting our data. Oh, let's leave that turned off for a minute. Keep the chart kind of clean in here. I'll take that away. We had like this cloud cover here on the 15-minute time frame and the 1 hour. I don't know, those two time frames right there, they've shown a lot more volatility than just zooming out to like a 4 hour and up. Hmm. Also got a bear div on see another bear div in here, which they're not as relevant. They're still need to be identified, but just haven't been giving a lot. Even when they, when you see them, they haven't been giving a lot. Not for lower time frames, anyway. See how we keep getting held down to that white line. Break right through that thing. me see something here. Like I said, if you were bearish, that could be good. That'll be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Let's just say that's 3. Then you got to get 5 down through here some sort of way. I don't know, maybe something like that. So these equal lows just seem interesting. Or even nicer, like I said, would be something more like that would be nice for me. Only got one thing in there. Put you right there. That bottom one I turned off was just the one that uh, connects across here. It makes it look like it's a broadening, which would essentially be a return. Which when you have something like this, you eventually look for it to come back to it. And that makes these equals down here look even more enticing if that were to be the situation. Be a huge fall. Speaking of falls, ooh, I see we're breaking out a little bit here on oil. Well, it's not really breaking out. It's just above that trend line that I drew. Trend line can be drawn again. It's not one of the horizontals. So I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt because you know if I'd have went with this one, you would have seen it break above. From that point, you would have seen these candles outside of it. So um, I could change it, take it away from that top and set it on here instead, and then extend it out more. So something like I could do it something like this instead. You can see how that hits a little bit different. I don't like how it went through that candle right there. Not if I'm going wick to wick. It would be have to do that one. And then it would be more so like that. But I really would focus more on the horizontal stuff. Only if it's actually breaking back above here, back through here to push in and go higher. I just happened to peek over here and see it. Um, USDT dominance still holding in here. Um, this isn't an area that I look for it to hold, but I was saying something like that about Strat yesterday too. Doesn't mean that it can't. And like I said, at the end of the day, this formation is bearish. I, we had the same thing on the weekly on Bitcoin time frame, but it didn't play out fully. And sometimes it just doesn't, and it could be where it's being drawn from too. Um, like I said, at the end of the day, it is still a bearish formation. We had that tap into it, and I need to take my little circles away. I don't know how some people feel about circles, but this is my chart. I just do it to emphasize so you can see how clean the touches are. That was another thing too, like for USDT dominance, really, and we talked about this structure right here, and I said to you, like, I didn't find anything really appealing about this structure. Yeah, you usually look, and I'm talking about this part right here, you usually look at this and you say it's a bullish structure, and we could do that. I was like, maybe we could break out of here and put in like a double top. But for USDT dominance, if it were to get beyond, which point is it? Yeah, the top one, then it would just go into price discovery. But the larger formation, the ascending broadening is typically a bearish formation in itself. And you tend to see them break down. Uh,
Bears on this end think price is too high. They send it down. Bulls on this end think it's too low. They send it back up. And that's just what that is. You end up with higher highs and higher lows. Um, where at the end of the day, bears end up sending it down. Like I said, we did it on the weekly on Bitcoin time frame, but we didn't feel it in completely, not pulling it from the widest point. We did not. And even if it does break down, it'll come into several areas of support. Just as Bitcoin to hit multiple areas of resistance, but lots of support through here if that were to happen. This sent it all the way back down to its actual weekly low. Not weekly low, but all time the its macro line. When you measure it out, it does send it back down to the macro trend line. Not from this time frame, but from higher time frame. I was looking at this as support, potential support level. That's why this is right here. It's potential support level for USDT dominance. This is the weekly chart right here. I don't know why my data's not here. Um, but that measured. See if I can't go over there and do it. Let's see if I was doing it. If it was dropping from here. See, that sends it back down to its macro trend line. And so that would be like Bitcoin, like I said, taking out its all-time high. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm just, speaking. But not saying that that's what we're in store for. Like I said, we didn't. It's just one scenario. It's one possible scenario. It's a probability, um, which works with this right here. Like I said, with the squeeze, you've seen it come up and come back down. Then you have the stuff on the monthly that's like, yeah, you know what? When I turn up, I don't turn down. When I turn up, I'm up, and that's it. So I mean, it's a lot of probabilities in here. A lot. Just like on this one right here. And I think I had to do this one from here because this was the last touch on it. Right here, we haven't come back in and touched the top side of the one here for, and this is literally been on my chart since, yeah, 2024. 2024. Literally been on my chart since then. I think I had another one, or I had it drawn in here a little bit differently or something. But like I said, this one right here didn't break down all the way into the measured target. As I've stated a few times, it does hit max pain right here around the 1.618. Hasn't done that. So yeah, I don't know. I think I had something in here beforehand. I might still have it, which was something like, make sure I'm not cutting. Have to make sure I'm not cutting through anything. Don't want to cut through any candle wicks or anything, and I'm not. It's not extending. Yeah, not cutting through anything. Could be something more like like this. I think I might have these in here somewhere. I need to organize. It might have been it. Let me take this away. I can add it back if I need it. Yeah, that was it. I knew I had something else in here somewhere. Yeah, I know I got this in here somewhere too. I think this is like a 1.2. What is this? Yeah, 1.272. Common max pain area. And that's why did I do it like that? I have no idea. I just did. Why isn't it up here? Heck no. I don't know. Oh, I know why. I know why. I know why I did that. We're just still holding around right there. A few minutes before we get retail sales and our President Trump speaks. So a few minutes before that comes in, when that happens. That was our 1.618 from low to high to low. 1.618. I don't really need this anymore. We've broken through this. I don't care how you do it, whether you leave it like that or you do it something like this. Sure, you can look at the wicks, but it has broken through it. You can change it. You can put it on. Let's see. We can put it like this with those lows. Do that. Then you had that, and then that rejection, and then you got a break. I mean, you can change this in many ways. We can go with that little pivot right there. Let's see, put it back on here. Yeah, I don't like any of it. Anyway, we've gotten through this. You can do it like that. Unlock. Actually, let me take that off of there. Go back with the tops. Yeah. Yeah, it's not useful anymore. Get rid of that. Log is really useful if you're trying to hold trades for longer periods of time. You can still hold a trade for a longer period of time, whether you have it on logarithmic or not. You can still get the same touches, whether it's on log or not. I don't know. A lot of people like log. I don't like log. It's easier to see, visually see for sure. If you have an asset that's been in the market for a very long time, it makes it a lot easier to see. This is US dollar index. Let me put it back down here on this one. We're still just chopping around. How is Ethereum doing? Let's see. Let's take a look at ETH. Haven't looked at ETH in a minute. So same. Still the same. Nothing's changed. Crazy, crazy, crazy though. When we were getting this drop on Ethereum, I gave two places to buy. Um, Actually, I gave a couple. We started out here with the golden pocket. I believe it was the golden pocket we started out with, something like that. I don't know where were we? Where were we? I don't know. I posted on it it was a long time back when I posted on it. I still I still got this table in here somewhere. That table is in here somewhere. Where are we at? Uh I remember I bought right here. And I said, y'all, I sold it. I'm just gonna wait. Ah! I'm just gonna wait because we do still got VWAP down there. We can still do VWAP. I'll be dang. I'll be dang. It popped up right. It was the perfect, perfect low. It was the perfect low. I see I bought it on leverage. And I was like, yeah, I'll wait. After I bought it, I sold it. It's like, I'll wait. I'll go back later. I'll go back later. It don't get no prettier than that. But we had a couple of things in here we was looking at on it. Max Payne, I said was, oh, that's Max Payne to the upside. Yeah, that was Max Payne to the upside. It's like 32, 32 Max Payne to the upside. We ended up doing a little bit more than that. That was our volume over price right in here, which is just your volume from below down here. What else we had in here? I don't know. We had a lot of stuff in here that we were looking at. I was like, this little overshoot right here. That yeah, it still can if you're bearish on Bitcoin or Bitcoin decides it wants to take a tumble or something like that. I would if we came back in and we didn't hold this ascending trend line right here, which I did that one based on the line chart. I took the wicks out of that and then I just left the wicks for the VWAP situation. So we have come back into VWAP to here. So if something like that happens, this is where I can pull this over here. This is what I would be looking for if something like that were to happen. We're pushing back up into, yeah, we're hammering at these lows in here. Lots of resistance down through here. Ethereum's doing pretty good though. Ethereum's doing really, really good, but we knew this area right here had multiple reversal points in here. So it was a good place to take a position off of Ethereum. Ethereum. I still got fixed volume range right here. Let me see something. Why does that look like that? I think I did this based on, was it a 3-month situation with a 3-month? No, that's not right. I don't know. I don't know. It's a little weird. Maybe there was another one in here. Yeah, there is another one in here. It's still blocked. I usually block something if it doesn't belong to that time frame. I don't know. Sometimes you go back and you look at something and it's like, why? I know if I take notes on it, but I probably didn't take notes on it. Oh, yeah, I did. I took notes on it. No, that's August 10th. Let's read some daily notes or something. I don't know. Ethereum weekly Bollinger Band standard one put a hold downside. I don't know. I don't have any notes on it. Let's just go ahead and pull it forward for whatever reason. Nah, I don't like that. Put it back where it was at. Because it was done like that for a reason. That seems to be where it's rejecting it too. I just can't find what that reason is right now. I don't know. I can't find what that reason is, and I chose not to extend it out. So it had something to do with something. Maybe it'll come to me later. I'm gonna look back over here at the levels that we used to watch for Ethereum. Actually, let me put this back on Bitcoin first, and then I'll go over there and do that. I think it's coming from our daily, unless it's coming from our 4 hour. I'll figure that out in just a sec. Yep, here we are. So these have been our levels in here for Ethereum for a very, 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 very long time. I don't know how long has it been. It's been a very long time we've been using these little levels in here, but I haven't looked at it in a very long time. Are they open? All of them? Yeah, they are. Okay, I was about to. They still hit hard. Boy, they still be hitting. Them levels still be hitting, baby. Still be doing the thing. So we got above whatever this was over here. For whatever reason, I did it. It came from, it had to be like a mother bar. I usually don't pull a fixed volume range unless there's a mother bar. It's the only way I'll do it, but it doesn't seem like I need it. It bounced off of it when it did. I think when I had did them like this, when I had did them, and where you got the solid, not dashed out, I think it was like a virgin level or something like that. So they were really key when price action would come down. I'd be looking for them to come into that, or coming up, looking for it to come into this. And then there's these two up here. So it looks like we've been into these. We actually haven't, not from when I had figured them out. So this would be an ultimate level in here, something like that. We were looking at something here for uh, shoot, I don't know. It is a FEG though. It was a fair value gap. Yeah, plenty of fair value gaps through here too. So if we get through here, I mean, yeah, nothing about this has changed. We get through here, then 26,000 to 27.7. That would be the target up right there. I would have told you that down here. That's exactly what I would have said. I would have said we get out of here, then you'd be looking for price action to come back into 22.49. And I usually just look at the bottom and the low. I put it as an area because it's less lines, but I'm usually looking at the top and the bottom. So the top and the bottom is what I look at when I do these. Look for price to come to the bottom, look for price to come to the top. And that's what we've done. Pretty clean, pretty clean. They've continued to be good. So yeah, that would be my next hit. Ultimately, you want to see price get into here. I think that that's exactly where we'll be coming into. But if you want to take it one step at a time, Ethereum 26.49, 27.71, low and top, be a resistance right there. It looks good. This daily structure looks really nice on Ethereum. What was this about? What were we looking for? Oh, I don't know what time frame was looking for that. That was a long time ago. It's little too. It's a little bitty move. I got some parallel in here for something. Just trying to find out what, because I haven't looked at Ethereum in a while. Apparently, was looking at some sort of a broadening situation in here for Ethereum. Just extend this out. Uh, I think I'd still work with these, to be honest. I think I would. Yeah, that one comes back up into this. Now let's get rid of them. Don't need that anymore. Bitcoin rejected off of that. Uh, golden pocket. It hasn't gone too far away from it. This is very choppy. You know what has worked really good with Ethereum has been Bollinger. I'm put this on 3 month. Hold on. I never looked at the mean reversion. You know that? I never looked at the mean reversion for it. That's a clean mean reversion. You know what that means? It means it holds the mean. It never breaks below the mean. God dang. Nope. I never considered Ethereum like that. I just did the basic technical analysis on it. I didn't look down here, see RSI, anything like that. But that's basic. That's what that means. It means that it never drops below the mean. It always holds the mean. I could tell it when I put it over here and I saw the moving averages in here. That was your low. That was your low. That was I literally snagged a low and sold it being greedy, like, yeah, come down some more. And it still could. But that's just too perfect. Interesting. Because I was just coming over here to look at the Bollingers, which are pretty interesting on Ethereum. So I could tell we weren't going to get far in this push up right here. The structure, structurally, it doesn't look good on a 3 month time frame. Not in terms of volatility, it doesn't. Which means Ethereum could continue to do something like that for a very long time, at least until some sort of a squeeze finally takes place here on the 3 month time frame. Um, this is exactly what we use to say it's tapping out. And it didn't have a structure of expansion. It would just simply be rejection. It probably hit like which may not show up. I'm not sure. Yeah, it didn't manage to get into it. A lot of times, what I will do instead of doing let me put it back on that 3. Instead of doing a 3, I will do a 2.5. Just to get a little better on it. But yeah, this structure isn't a strong structure for Ethereum. If you don't know, it's not. It's just not. It's very sideways. Doesn't stop it from going up, but it's very sideways. It doesn't indicate that you're going to get to like 10,000. It doesn't express that. Stagnation is what it expresses. That's my take on it. But that was quite interesting. That it never goes outside of the mean. So far, it's been very successful with that. Interesting. Interesting. No, Solana doesn't have enough information for that. Nothing's changed with Soul. I'm sure of it. This was our weekly chart for Solana. When we were looking at it, I know I felt really bearish on Solana. And I stated in several videos, the potential of Solana losing. Actually, it was after Solana lost. Yeah, 120, I think it was. No, it couldn't have been 120. I kind of felt like that at 120. It had to have been right in here. I was like, yeah, $40 to $30 could be a thing. And I remember I went in and I sold half of my Solana position because I really felt that way about it. So I sold half of it because I had not taken any profits. I'd have sold. I got sold in the $20 range, but I had not taken any profit from it, and then I let it all come back down against me, and I was like, you know what, I need to take. I take out my initial profit when I do invest in the crypto space. I take out my initial profit when I get back into it, but I never taken any actual. Did I make money from it outside of just taking out my initial investment? No, I didn't do that with Soul, and then I waited. Until it got down here, and I got like nervous, like, okay. If we're it's a good chance we're gonna come all the way back down to where I got in at somewhere down there, and I don't want to hold it all the way back down there. Like anything can happen, and that was yeah, that was sadness on my part because I had an opportunity to take some profit up here and I didn't. You know, but we've seen Solana sell off and hit really low levels, and so that was the thing. But it was really like a last minute decision, very last minute decision. Little squeeze in here on Sol. Had another little squeeze back here on Solana. I think that's the only one. It wouldn't have enough information to go back too much further. The VWAP. This is the all-time VWAP right here for Solana. Right here, all-time VWAP. Uh, Sort of rejecting off of that right now. In fact. But yeah, this is an all time VWAP. But it has held. Surprisingly, it has held through here. I mean, there's still a likelihood if we were to do any of the things that some people are expecting for Bitcoin, there's still a likelihood of those things happening. You do got these highs through here. I know I got a monthly chart on it that gives like some better levels, and I think it would have been this one, yeah, this one right here around the 40. Like I said, it would be 40 to 30. That's what I was saying, somewhere around there. So it would be these highs right in here. Prior resistance, flipping to support. And then below that would be down here in your 30s. Would be down here. Actually, that's more 20s if I know math. 8:14. So Trump is gonna come on about 15 minutes. I still think that I mean, so far that is holding. So far that is holding. And I didn't feel like buying. Like as somebody who held through all of this, you could say to me, why wouldn't you buy? If you held through all of that and you just came all the way back down to a support level, why would you buy? Why wouldn't you buy? It was stupid. It was really. I mean, I don't know if it's stupid. It not taking profit at the highs is ridiculous. So it's a long term investment. At least I thought it was until it got down here, and it was like sell at the bottom, sell low, buy high. Sell low, buy high. Yep. It's very corrective, though. It is just very corrective. ABC, maybe. I don't know. You got some better levels though, but what I would be looking for, let's just say that it did lose the 7-8 though. It's like I said, I would be looking at this high over here. So naturally for me, if I were to draw it out, You go as far left as you can. Always doing it from the left. Old data. Always want to use your oldest information. That's the key. Let me change the font size on this. So it's the same. It's just I'm just changing the font size on it. You always want to go as far left as you can to where your trend first starts when you're looking at your support and resistance levels. That's how I find all my data. That's how my levels last me for years. Just by doing that, they last for years. At some point, you can start pushing out looking at newer data. But if you go as far left as you can on your chart to pick up the oldest data, um, and use that saves you a lot because all your institutional money is gonna be sent back there because they hold forever, ever, ever, and ever, ever. They're investors. They're investors. So, um, yeah, all time VWAP, the resistance through here. Uh, late newest data would suggest this right here. That probably hit exactly perfectly too. So more new data would be this right here. That's exactly what it tapped into if I didn't have VWAP. It'd be something like that. So you got that one. You got this right here to my left. You got that right there to my left. Over here you had this to my left over here. So that worked good for when price dropped down and came back up right there. Uh, here to your left worked good for this right here. But it's going to be whatever's to your left though. You can put in new stuff. That's more reliable. Oh, did I take that? Took that VWAP out of here. Nice little squeeze though. I do like that squeeze. I do like that squeeze. Says nothing. I like that squeeze. You get through here, you're gonna come into some resistance through here. Plenty of resistance already. Probably want to look at this low right here. And then of course your main one, that 115 that held you. That'll be your strongest bit of resistance in here for Solana. Solana's done very well with coming into I don't need that. I was looking at that because of these points right here. I was looking at that. Just some extra confluence or extra support. I think I put this into like a megaphone pattern, something like that. You can use that for your reversal. High potentially uh, megaphone pattern in here. Just had a brain fart because I was just thinking about something. And yeah, support and resistance for me, it chumps. Like I don't really get into this. It's useful. It's useful. It's useful. But support and resistance level is like the biggest thing for me. That's how I know these levels right here will stand the test of time. If you've been with me for a long time, I have not. It's been years It's been years. These still hit years later. I don't have to change it because that was the data. That was the data. The data. Why is this doing this? I thought it would be a long time before I had to put on the second level of these areas down through here too, but nah. Nah. It's been a long time. It's been a I just want to stretch these out. I'm sorry, since I'm over here, I do get a little bit of OCD. The charts. 823. I've been staying around a little bit longer. It is time for me to go. I did want to see how Trump was going to affect the market. A little bit of a double top situation right now on Bitcoin. A little bit. But 96.27, then you got 108 right there. I'm using these higher levels right here, but you know, you find what works for you. Sometimes I just want to look at a single line. This was such a fast move down. I would assume that you can just get back in here to this 115, with the exception of this little peak right here, that 105, with the exception of that. But yeah, 115 would be my target up once it gets past this VWAP situation in here. Look for that. This is just flat and choppy. Good Lord. No bear div or anything like that right now, so that's plus. No daily bear div through there. This right here, a little bit of an exception on that bear div, but that's already played out right there. It's a nice little support level through here. It looks exactly like Bitcoin, but is it? Yeah. I wasn't really paying attention to it when I was running my mouth. It's a long way off from that. This is quite the situation. I think I might have already had this in here. VWAP cuts right through there, so clear resistance. Like I said, I really don't use the fixed volume range unless I have like a actual range, inside range. Then typically I will put a WAP on it. Let me make sure I'm putting it where I would if no, it already has that all-time VWAP on it. No, don't do that. Turn all of that off. Go one high. I'll go one low just to see. Make sure. Make sure it's hitting the same spot. Okay. Uh, yeah. I mean, it pretty much matches up with what the fixed volume range is pointing out, highlighting in terms of the level. So it's not needed. It's not needed. But yeah, VWAP value area high. It's far from getting up here though. What was that like on a weekly? Yeah, I could do this like I did Bitcoin. Um, That means this shouldn't be a problem, but already you can see the difference through here. I just didn't want to mark it out because naturally I would be looking at this one right here because it's less likely to, that's all the way up here. So even if it did manage to flip above here and validate the bear div that's already in play right now on this weekly time frame, it would have some issues invalidating this one. But this one is, I don't want to say it goes down from here. Just that it is at this right now. If it's not managing to invalidate it, it will come up and roll over. You'll see it lose that momentum right across there and get that drop down. But for now, I'm going to take that out of it. This looks pretty decent. And it's showing that it was quite extended to the downside in here. But you can see how long that went on back here. Also, it went on for a while. As you can see the strength coming up the entire time, even though price was coming down, you can see MACD continued to climb and 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 climb until what happens? Oop, you know what it is. It gets above zero, gets above the delta, and bam. So maybe it does that here. Maybe it grinds it out. Maybe it grinds it out. And it does that. And just continues to pedal higher and higher and higher and higher and higher for a long extended time until finally it gets above zero, gets above delta, and pops up. And then, of course, you had your little correction waves through here. After you make your cross, get your corrective waves through here. A little bit of a dipper right there. So quite the dip. And then you got that last one with these bear divs through here. I don't know. Looks a bit weak in my opinion, but nonetheless, and by flip, it has to come from the weekly time frame, not the daily, because this is where you're not getting closures above, and you're not getting closures below here either. Got quite a bit of wicks below it, but no closures below there, just like Bitcoin. Um, I'm gonna go back and look at Biddy. We'll put this back on. You're not gonna get that. Somebody had mentioned that one time before, and it's like you're not gonna get that. These were the two times it got below the RSI 50. Those two times right there. Do want to see it reclaim back above 50. So you want to see that. It's really that simple with Solana. Come back into the range. But right here, if I was using this as a floor, it held really good as a floor. Or at least it's holding really good as a floor. Unfortunately, this didn't run back far enough in here. And this big decline. I don't know. I'm not really interested in Solana anymore, and it probably be at the time where it just does really well. They sent us Smackdown. This still remains. So if it's not holding, problem, problematic, problematic. You might want to look at an SFP from it, but aside from that, yeah, they sent it. Trump is talking right now. It is 8:41. Oh my gosh, he is talking right now. Oh, forgot all about him. I really did. I got busy and I forgot all about him. Got busy doing nothing. Shoot. So I got a red candle. It's not bad, but it has it. I don't know what just happened. Just seemed like it skipped. And so far we're holding. We really need to hold right here looking at the 4 hour. We're not doing that. We see like a larger candle drop to the downside. 4 hour. Um, it could aggressively push us back into this trend line right. Yeah. Push us back into here if it happens. have no comments on this stuff. We'll take him off the screen and keep his voice on. All right. Looking pretty decent right now. Need to get past this little burden right here. Really need to be able to get past this. Like I said, if not, 4 hours telling a different story if I'm not able to get through this. Dang, have a little problem. Oil is still just back testing at 87.59. Back testing that resistance level right there. And again, SPY, SPY, nothing aggressive from a 4 hour. Same thing on Qs. It was that squeeze we had. So when it released, um, that squeeze right here. Still looks pretty strong, guys. It could come all the way back down here. Don't want to lose this, but if we do end up down here, we can't maintain this level right here, and we'll be looking for price action to come back in here and tap into this ascending trend line right here. It looks about right. And we're pretty much at the mercy of this conference. And like I said, if we're not able to get back above this level of resistance, you can see it hitting right here. It's just looking at the moving average here. I'm literally looking at it for something else, but it's pretty good resistance right here. If we if we're not able to get back above it, we could be looking to lose this low here. We identified yesterday area of interest and come back down here to this ascending trend line. Right now we're holding, see what happens after this is over. I'm really having a hard time stomaching, trying to get through it though, just to see what's said. Oil still holding steady. Again, oil is still holding steady, rejecting off of the 87.59, not mentioned to push through that at the moment. And then again, supply, a couple of other ones. Um, we have a pretty nice red candle right there. Sure, it looks a lot more interesting. If I zoom out like this, so you can see the effects of the market right now. We're looking at the fact that we did break below momentum yesterday too, but yeah, slight lower high right there. Slight. That's oil on a 15-minute time frame as we're hitting that resistance level. That daily candle is starting to look kind of rough. Kind of rough. Get rid of this commercial. Not that I care to comment on this kind of stuff or say anything that offends anyone else, but if we're talking about fair voting, that's not our place. That's not our place as Americans. It's not America. It's not our decision to make. Alright. I think I'm gonna get out of here. This press conference is something else. But anyway, I'm gonna cut that from there. I can't take it anymore. Uh, Basically, we're hitting some resistance right now when we got this drop down right here. We did have a squeeze, so that gave us a quick little flush in here. We need to be able to get back above that resistance, which is simply right here where you see this red candle at right here. We need to be able to flip back above that resistance right there, get out of this hole that we're sitting in. If we don't manage to do that, it's more probable that we're going to break below our level here. This is the level we identified yesterday. I did a evening stream yesterday. We came back, we held it as support, we got to bounce away from it. And if that happens, I'd be looking for price action to come back down here and back test this ascending trend line right here. That would be a very likely situation if we're not able to get back above the resistance. Me just looking at the 4 hour time frame right now. And as I mentioned to you earlier, 1 hour, you can't see it here, but 1 hour, like it's not gonna show up in here. It's not showing in here. So you don't see that squeeze in here, but there is potentially a squeeze developing that could give it some sort of a little bit of a move down too. So that's why I'm saying that it could come back down here and hit this trend line right here. So far, it's holding up. whenever this conference is over, I guess we'll see what price action is really going to do. It's not all that volatile, in my opinion. Not really. Not necessarily too aggressive. But we got problems. We're not able to get back up here. 4 hour has a RSI squeeze. The squeeze on the RSI for the 4 hour is basically where the RSI is sitting in between two signal lines like that. That calls for some sort of an aggressive move right there. Because it's not making a decision, and once it does, it's going to break out pretty heavily, forcefully. And so far, we're holding. But that's it. If we manage to get through it and get back up here, I'll be looking for that 786 to get tapped into. There's quite a bit of resistance through here. I haven't made any attempted shorts down through here. I did short up here. I did short in here. But I haven't made any attempts through here. But 786 could be it. If it's a zigzag, if it's a ABC zigzag correction, then 786 could be it. If this wasn't already the tailwind right here for that move down. So I don't know. Market's gonna open in about 3 minutes. And yeah. So far, and again, oil continues to reject that 87.59, at least until it doesn't. Market is about to open, so we'll find out how we're really going to push here, especially with the speech still going on right now. And I showed you, SPY, a couple of other ones. I'm seeing a bit of a rejection. Can't say that wasn't to be expected though. We had already yesterday in here on the SPY, and this is the ETF one. We had already got the momentum break here. So the rest of this is just basically trying to put in a bear div in here, along the highs in here. But that's, it's already showing a loss of momentum in here prior to this speech even coming about. Said not doesn't look like a harsh candle there. It will be corrective still. I wouldn't be looking for some massive sell off, at least not right now until it indicates that I've treated as if it is simply a correction. Like I said, it looks a little worse if you zoom out, something like this on a 15-minute time frame. You can see the selling through here. Filled that gap, which is, we're about there too on put that back, put it back on oil. Yeah. We're not, yeah. Still just a little bit of this gap left in here. Nothing major. Doesn't have to fill the rest of that in. But that's what I would be looking for, a gap fill. Completion of the gap fill into the 786. And then it might possibly, um, If it goes there, again, if this isn't it, if the golden pocket rejection isn't it, um, so definitely watch out for the ascending level in here. Market's just open too. Definitely watch out for that ascending level in here. Yep. With that said, I'm gonna run. I will let you know over on X. I'm down to crypto TA. I'll let you know over on X. I don't know. Maybe today will be another boring day for me, and I can jump back on stream, possibly something good. But I will post a pic and let you know where we're at in this situation. Not looking too great right now. Really not looking too great right now. Because this is it for the one that we really need to hold here again. 75, 567, same area, same level. Still need to hold that. If we're not holding that and not able to get back above the resistance that is currently in here right now, look out for the ascending trend line here. Easier to spot it from your 4-hour time frame. It's basically this tap, and you can put it on here or put it on here, but it's this trend line right here. Hopefully this isn't looking to break down either. I covered the bearish case scenario, what I think would happen behind that, because below this line right here, I my bias changes, switches a little bit from my bullish stance to more of a negative stance. I'm not going to feel as comfortable or confident um, if we're trading below this trend line right here. You got some levels in here I will attempt a long at, but it's not going to be the same. But I still will attempt some new longs down through here. Golden pocket with the support level here for my weekly, which we really don't want to be trading below. And then, from here, you just straight up come into resistance, but value area high, mean reversion for your daily time frame. This push you below. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, but we'll see. Just all we can do is see what happens. See what happens. 75, 567. All right.